Well, I was not a curmudgeon this weekend because I played some Borderlands 3, which has been in my backlog as we were going through our backlog of games that we purchased and then we just for some reason didn't play, and we had no excuse to not play in some cases. And Borderlands 3 is my first game for Ex Libris for 2021, playing games that came out 2019, I believe, for Borderlands 3. I'll have to double check.
Borderlands 3 is 2019, September.
2019, yeah. I was, and I mentioned on the show before, and anyone who knows, or no, a lot of people who know me, other than like Dark Souls and Demon Souls and all that, like I played the heck out of Borderlands 1. I played a lot of Borderlands 2, but I played insane amount of the first Borderlands game. The second one was good. I hated the pre-sequel. I think I played 5 hours of the pre-sequel. I think I played.
It sucks.
It was terrible. Borderlands 3, from the beginning, hooked me. I felt like I was playing Borderlands 1 again in a good way. I felt like they kept the tone. They kept Clap. I think part of it was Claptrap. Like some of the jokes were really dumb that he makes, but it's supposed to be. Like he's supposed to be making a stupid reference because they're making fun of how everything has to be like a pop culture reference or whatever. Like, so you had parts that were funny, parts are making fun of like live streamers because you're the villains. At least I'm about 5 hours into the game. Main villains in the game are like streamers streaming their antics. So they're streaming their antics and they're trying to get into these vaults and whatever. So they're not gaming streamers, but it's the same idea. It's the same, selfish personality kind of situation. So it's a little tongue in cheek in that. That's them there, by the way. Also, I mean, Lilith is in it because you had to have. I can't remember. Did you play Borderlands
1 and 2?
Okay, so Lilith is in.
Like I said, I played pre-sequel and it sucked.
That's right.
So
That's right. Well, I figured at least you played that. Yeah. Yeah, pre-sequel sucked, but like Lilith is in this. I don't know if others show up because, like I said, that's just how far I am right now. But I'm really liking it. It's hooked me in quite a few ways. Stories has been good. I still do miss some of the characters and stuff from the first one, but and I need to play some of the other what's it called? The other classes, if you will, because I'm playing. I have to look at the names of the classes. I picked all of them looked like they were good and they were well balanced. They were going to be fun. It was just a question of what style I wanted to play. And I did hear a lot of people online saying it is very well balanced. Like no one class is just going to wreck everything. You're going to have fun with any class as long as that's your style, which I appreciate. Like I don't want one to be over to be just completely dominating. But I think also it helps that you're starting off on Pandora. It's just so classic. Driving around on one of the catcher rides. It hooked me with that. I hate to say nostalgia, but it's been like 10 plus years now. It hooked me with the nostalgia on it, but it also was good enough to. If this was a brand new game, it would have been good too. It wasn't just nostalgia for nostalgia. So, yeah, I really liked it. I liked what I played. I think I'm going to keep playing.
So, we say we're going to keep playing already, and we talk about, I don't know, there was just something about the pre-sequel. Like, whenever we say it sucked, like, because the gameplay was essentially the same. And, for it's a looter shooter. For everybody who doesn't know, it's a first player. I mean, you can play online, but it's a story-based looter shooter as opposed to like a Destiny. So is it just that they got the vibe back? Because that was what I guess felt off about pre-sequel. It was just that they didn't feel like it had the Borderlands heart, if that's the right word.
100%. Yeah, it has the heart. It has the heart where it's like, yes, this is quasi stealing on Mad Max kind of like vibe, post-apocalyptic vibe. Yes, you're on another planet, but that's totally where they got inspiration. But the grotesque and gruesome violence, but the jokes, the psychos are just so classic in that case, where it's the tone is right, where it's not too graphic, but it's graphic enough, and the joking is enough that you don't get grossed out or you don't get bogged down about the violence. It's a good blend of that. It's a good blend of overall tone in and pacing in the game too. The amount of and the amount of quests and the weird stuff they make you do on the quests that still works. Like I went through one quest where I was finding different things for Claptrap. He wanted like a hat and an umbrella and some things. You had to go around and get them from people who either none of them really wanted to help you, but you had to get them from other people around Pandora.
Mhm.
And some of the ways to get them was kind of like a puzzle. Like, how do I get into this area? Like sometimes it's like, oh, there's a hidden switch, but sometimes like I have to get on top of a thing and jump off, and so I like that aspect of it. It gave you something to do where yes, some of it's busy work, but it's funny. It's worth it. Like all the side quests have been entertaining, even if I'm going to the same place like 3 times. It spawned something different there, and it wasn't just the World of Warcraft. Oh, it spawned this one enemy. The Hogger is here. Go kill the Hogger. Now you're done. Like there was something there that made that place unique and made it fit a story. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I bought it at launch, to be quite honest, and I even downloaded it at one point and then literally just have never touched it. I think what happened with Gearbox, who's the developer and publisher, well, no, they're the developer, 2K published the game. I think what happened kind of soured me on it, and I shouldn't be that way. I should still play the game for the game's sake. It's not the devs' fault that the devs got screwed over by the boss man, but they already got my money, so it was kind of like this give and take. Like, you gave my money, you didn't give it to the developers and their proper bonus. But then they did at least a good thing. For those of you who don't know, if you bought Borderlands 3 on previous gen, they did upgrade it to new gen at no additional cost.
Yep.
That's one thing that I didn't throw in the news today. Control Ultimate Edition is both coming to Game Pass and to PlayStation Plus now. PlayStation Plus next month. And originally, Remedy was not going to give you that thing if you bought the game day one. They weren't going to upgrade it, but now they're just. I think this is their silent apology by giving it to Game Pass and PlayStation. And I think this might have been a thing with Gearbox as well, a little bit of goodwill, and says, hey, you want upgraded for free, no problem. They didn't even make a big deal out of it. They just said it's on PS5 and Xbox One. If you own it, you got it.
Yeah. In fact, if you look on, unless they've changed it, because the last time I looked was maybe last week or whatever, Borderlands 3, you can't buy a PlayStation 5 version of it. It is the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 version, which I appreciate because, again, they're not trying to make another $5 or $10. Of course, the game's discounted. It's not the $60 that it was at launch.
No.
But a company could easily charge a premium or charge an upgrade fee, and I think
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with it, as long as you're allowing one way or another for you to get it, especially for an older game where they're like, hey, we put in some work here. If you want the upgrade, you don't have to pay $70. Just pay $10, whatever it is.
10.
Yeah, I think 10 makes sense, because it's like, hey, if you bought it at launch and you love it and you want to play the upgraded version, that makes sense. You pay the difference, whatever. Like, but yeah, in this case, free upgrade. And I will say, did find it funny. You were talking about Control Ultimate coming to PlayStation, and you saw the other game coming to PlayStation Plus next month, right?
Oh, there's 3 of them.
We got Destruction All Stars, and we got Concrete Genie, which you played last week. So
I bought that at launch too.
Yeah. So at least Owen's recommendation of Concrete Genie, because we were saying it's totally worth it if you can get it for a discount. So now that it's on PlayStation Plus for February, go grab it, play it, and then spread the love, because those developers, I'm assuming PlayStation works this way. I believe Xbox gives their devs more if there's more people downloading it. Like there's a little incentive. I'm sure it's like there's certain thresholds. It's not a lot, but share the love and maybe someone will buy it.
I recently listened to that. Nobody actually has talked about it, or at least not that I've found. So we're not sure. Some people theorize that it's just a flat thing, like that they give them, but other people have said maybe it's based. Honestly, I hope it's a flat thing versus like what Spotify does, where like you get your money based on plays. I will say right now, same thing that
system, like where it was like you get a flat thing, but if your game is like going crazy like Fall Guys did, okay, here's a little kickback. Sorry,
I will say right now, just since Patrick is saying he's going to play it again, so that's a check off. That's 2 recommended games for the month of January. We got Concrete Genie and Borderlands 3. I would wait though on Borderlands 3 because right now it is $59.99 on both PSN and Microsoft Store. So
for the giant ultimate?
No, just for regular Borderlands 3.
That's been out. What do they think they are, Nintendo? What
I understand, yeah. So they will automatically again. So they're not charging you $70 for your PS5 or Series version, but it definitely goes on sale. Just like I said last week, even though Concrete Genie was half the price at the time, it goes on sale. So he's recommending it. Just put it on the old wish list. Wait for it to happen. Even though the PlayStation wish list is now atrocious and really hard to do. If you're on PlayStation 5, you can only view your wish list on PlayStation 5. It's dumb and irritating. And then I don't even know if Microsoft has one, but if you're a PC player, Steam definitely has one. Everybody knows that. So just check it off on there. Wait for it to drop because it's going to inevitably drop.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say it was part of the sales that they had around Black Friday, around Christmas. Give it a month or so, it'll drop again. Those PlayStation and Xbox sales that rotate through. Yeah, wait for it, grab it, and
60 on Steam right now too. Goodness gracious. I thought you PC gamers said it was cheaper to play on PC. Get at it. I'm just
obviously kidding. Well, I think those PC gamers are pirates. I think that's what it is.
So what? Obviously, we're not going to talk about it again till the end of next month. So for those of you, he mentioned it at the top of the segment, but we are playing 12 games in 12 months off the backlog that we already own. We will not be purchasing new games that get added on to this segment. Now we will be purchasing new games. I have Super Mario 3D World. That's the next game that I have coming out that I've paid for. So this isn't counting those. What have you got lined up? I have good old Ghost of Tsushima, which is the last, I believe, PlayStation 4 exclusive that I tried to buy all of them. I think I'm trying to think of one that I don't own, and I can't think of one. I haven't played Bloodborne. I do own it, but I definitely wanted to buy it. Everybody says it's great. You've said it's great, and I'm playing it in its best version because they did go ahead and unlock the frame rate, and it runs at 60 on PS5. So that's what I'm going to be getting into next month. What have you got lined up?
So there are quite a few. There's a few, and I'm trying to figure out which one. And I think it just makes sense. I did purchase this game last year, but Control I have not played. I purchased it when I heard the Alan Wake expansion was a thing, and I went, there is no way I can turn this away because Alan Wake is one of my favorite franchises. So I think I'm going to play Control in February, which works out great with the Control Ultimate because I'll get Control Ultimate. I'll get the update,
the upgrade, baby.
So I think Control is going to be mine for next month.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, I guess I'm not completely surprised, but the thing that surprised me about the upgrade version is that they pulled the initial Miles Morales thing. It is a 60 FPS performance mode and a 30 FPS performance mode with ray tracing, and so you're gonna have to decide again. I already know what you're gonna pick. You're gonna pick the 60, but
I don't know. So I don't know. So go ahead.
That's the thing. So I played Miles in 30. I have played 60 frame games. I'm playing Call of Duty regularly.
Makes sense.
We're really gonna see if I start noticing more this gen on frame rate. If I start having a problem with 30 frame games, I've had people tell me, or not people tell me, but people say, and I'm in some gaming Slack channels and Discord channels, that they can't go back to certain games because they're 30 frames. Like somebody's told me they can't play Final Fantasy 7 anymore because they haven't unlocked the 60. I'm like, you're out of your mind. That game looks great and it runs great. There's no way you can't play it at 30 frames.
So I said this a long time ago. 30 works very great for certain games. Like so I played The Last of Us, and I played The Last of Us remastered 60 frames per second. And I honestly think I liked the flow and the tone used in 30. Honestly, I wish that this is just me, but it would have actually been cool to have a cinematic mode where it clicked down to 24. Because if you're watching a movie, if you're watching Avengers, if you're watching Tenet, if you're watching The Dark Knight, that's 24 frames a second. Unless you got your TV turned on with that smoothing crap, you got to turn that crap off. Like, do not do that unless you're watching sports. That's how it's intended to be, and it gives a certain dreamy look. It gives a certain kind of feel to that we get in movies that doesn't look, because when it looks too real, it's in some cases I feel like it's detracting from the art. Control in 30 frames may be okay. I think it's cinematic enough that I'm okay with it. You're talking Call of Duty, 100%. 60,
you have to 60 or more.
100, like that's why gaming PCs, like in competitive gaming, that makes sense. But Final Fantasy 7, no, 30 frames. Like I said, 24 frames. That's fine. It doesn't need to be 60. It doesn't need to be. There's people who are getting with their gaming rigs that are plus 100 frames. That's amazing, good for you, but it's not needed. I will say that certain games, though, if those people like shooters, if that's their bread and butter, if they're competitive multiplayer gamers, yes, I get it. But if you're an all-around gamer, like I think you and I have like kind of a variety of games and styles and genres that we go for. I don't think it matters as much, but I will say for Spider-Man, it was something about the smoothness of that action was really cool. But Control, I'll probably play in fidelity 30 frames. We'll see.
We'll see. So we got 2 big AAA games lined up on the backlog. Make sure you follow along with us. Go look through your backlog. We know you have one. Don't try and hide it behind all the stuff over there. We know it's there. Make yourself little lists. Play along with us. Let us know what games you want to knock out this year, and have some fun with us. I'm having fun so far. I never touched Borderlands 3. I probably should download the PS5 version and check it out. And then I'm super pumped to get into Ghost, because I just I think it was just after The Last of Us, I just didn't want to play anything for a little while.
You needed a palate cleanser. And I will say also with Ghost has some intense stuff in it. It's not as dark, in my opinion. It's not as psychologically like depressing as Last of Us.
Sure.
But I'm glad you had some space in there. Borderlands took a little bit to kind of warm up, where I'm like, oh, this is really great. It took maybe an hour and a half or so. Ghost, from the opening, I was hooked. Absolutely. So I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy your backlog. Go grab some of those games. Go download some of those games that you haven't played, that you purchased for Black Friday of 2019 and you still haven't played. Download that. Play it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.